Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 81 of Shauna Stitches. I'm Shauna, and this is my crafty podcast where I talk about all the things that I've been working on lately. Today is Friday, January 19th, and we have finally thawed. If you watched my last episode, you heard me mention how bad our weather was, that we were getting freezing rain and expecting a lot of freezing rain or snow. We never did get any snow, but we spent about 5 days under an inch of freezing rain and it just didn't thaw. And when it did start to thaw, it actually got worse and more slick. So our little county here was pretty much shut down. Luckily, we managed to keep power here at my house and the heater continued to work, but it was a mess to say the least. My husband had to call out to work for 2 days because it just wasn't safe to drive. Now that the weather report is out of the way, I do have some things to show you, but before we get into that, I will mention, as I always do, that all the links to all the projects I'm going to show and where you can find me are down below, and you can always find me pretty much anywhere if I'm there as Shauna Stitches, usually all one word, and that's on Ravelry and Instagram. So, let's see. I have finished a couple things. That's exciting. If you saw my whip parade episode, I do have a finished object from that. This is what I told you I was calling my cinema cowl. It is a big tube, and I used 2 full skeins of fingering weight yarn in 2 different colors, this pink and yellow and blue, and then the blue, white, and like a seafoam green. And all I did was provisionally cast on and knit all of one skein, start the second skein, and knit till it was almost gone, and then I Kitchenered it together. Luckily, I can't even tell you exactly where the Kitchener stitch is, except for I know it's there because the stitches aren't perfect, but they aren't bad. And the yellow one started with a little bit of blue, and then the blue obviously ended with some blue, so it's perfect. It really is mostly seamless. I can tell you, there's the very end. I don't know why I did not exactly get it looking perfect there, but I just tuck it to the inside and no one will ever know except for that I just told y'all. So 2 skeins, about 900 yards, and I can't tell you exactly how long it is, but it just wraps up nicely and you see both colors. I did start this in September 12th of 2018. So this has been on my needles forever. As I had said before, it was a project I cast on specifically to take it to the movies, and then we quit going to the movies, and I still haven't resumed going to the movies, so it just really wasn't seeing any work. But it was very simple to finish up. I had about 30 grams of yarn to go, and then I knit all that 30 grams, and now we have a finished object, which is wonderful. So I finished this on the 15th of January. What else do I want to say about this? I feel like there was something. Oh, I would definitely like to knit another one of these. Maybe longer, maybe a bit shorter. I don't know. It works just fine. I don't know. I feel like there was something I was going to tell you. I didn't really follow a pattern. Oh, I know what it was. So I based these colors off of, at the time, I can't even tell you who the dyer was, but there was a set that you could buy that was based on Beauty and the Beast, and it was, you know, the Belle colors, yellow, pink, maybe not blue for Belle, but anyway, yellow and pink, and then the other was blue for the Beast, and this was in my stash, and that's why I chose these particular colors, but they go together so well. And I don't remember this yarn. This yarn is a non-wool sock yarn. It's like Berroco sock, maybe. It's in the show notes and in my Ravelry page. But I had a couple skeins of this, and a couple different times I tried caking those skeins up and they just became a tangled mess. I ended up throwing them away, and these sat in my stash. I clearly bought them before I knew anything about sock yarn, and I just didn't know what I was going to do with them. They sat there, and this was the perfect project. So anyway, very happy to have this done. it will go in my box of outerwear to grab. I probably wouldn't grab this on the coldest of days, being non-wool, but it still will keep me warm. And it's a nice pop of color. Matches what I'm wearing really well. I do have a second finished object. It doesn't quite look right when I show it to you this way, but this is the green Musselburgh hat that I started. I don't have an exact date, but I knit my first 2 Musselburgh hats in February of 2021, and I know I cast this on right after finishing those. So I'm going to say late February or early March of 2021, and I had, let's see, I think this was the cast, yep, I think this is the cast on edge. Anyway, I was about right here, and that's all I had knit, and I knit the rest, and it's still a bit damp. It's not really damp. I'm sure it's still holding some water. As you know, wool can hold water without necessarily feeling wet. So it's been on a hanger in front of my fireplace. And I just washed it yesterday because I finished it yesterday. So I will definitely hang it back up there just to make sure it's all the way dry before it goes in our hat drawer. But there's what it looks like. If you noticed my hair, I'm trying to embrace the curl, but I really, I just don't love how it looks. This side looks okay. You notice I've tucked this side back because this side wants to be curly and this side wants to, I don't know, not be curly, but not be straight. And I'm trying all the things. I'm doing the gel. I'm doing the plopping. I'm wearing a dang satin cap to bed. And this is what my hair looks like. I'm ready to just, as you know, I have shaved my head before. I'm ready to shave it off. But before I do that, I am just ready to wear it in a bun all the time, which is what I normally do. So the fact that I don't care what my hair looks like, I'm going to put this hat on. It honestly cannot make it any worse. So I can't remember if this is the largest size or the next to largest, but it's for my husband. And it has a nice big brim to fold up to cover the ears. And the way I like to do my Musselburgh hats is to do all the increases, weigh how much yarn I've used, and then knit until I have maybe 1 more gram than the increases took me, just in case, and start the decreases so I can use up almost every last little bit and get the longest hat possible out of one skein. It works really well. And this used up an entire skein. Actually, I had like maybe 2 grams left. I actually threw it away. I threw away yarn. Can you believe it? You know what I should have done with it? I should have put it in my crochet puff, whatever, but it's fine. It is fine. I really, really love these colors and they will look really good on my husband. It smells good too from washing it. So those are my 2 finished objects. I do have a couple works in progress to show you too. The first one, my Lochcorran Vest, has seen some work. Although I haven't worked on it in a few days. This is my watching TV knitting because I'll be honest, I do a lot more listening to TV than I do watching. But yeah, so I finished, that is the first entire first repeat, and I've started the second repeat there. So I'm really happy. Now that it's getting bigger, you can definitely see that there is a dark gray and a light gray. It looks kind of argyle-ish. And very happy. I cannot wait to see this keep growing. It's so pretty. But it does take concentration. So I have been doing a lot of reading lately, and I have been picking a lot of vanilla-ish projects to work on because I can read and knit on those at the same time. My next work in progress, you might remember, had been on one needle. Holy cow, my brain's not working. And I was doing magic loop, and this is my Handspun. Can you believe that? I'm calling these Handspun 2 ways because that's exactly what it is. This skein here is chain plied. And this skein here is a traditional 3-ply. And it's the same fiber. Isn't that so cool? The fiber that I spun is Spindelicious, with all of my little notes on there. It is the Like Totally colorway, and it's the Spin Skinny 100% superwash merino, and yeah, Spindelicious. She does custom dyeing, so I think you can still get this color, but I remember just falling in love with it. So what I did, I split the braid in half lengthwise, right? I folded it in half and broke it in half so that I had 2 equal lengths. And I spun all of this onto 1 bobbin and chain plied it. And then I spun the remaining 3, I broke it into 3 equal parts, and I spun each to its own bobbin and plied it together. And it's so amazing how the same fiber can look so different, yet, I mean, similar. Anyway, I really enjoy it. I'm so happy I split this onto 2 separate needles. I remember telling you guys that I thought I was just about to the spot where I could start doing the increases for the sock petition toe up, because that's not the original pattern I was doing with these. And I had to pull out just a few rows. I think you can see right in here where I re-knit some of the yarn, and it's a bit crinkly, but it should come out when I block it. And if it doesn't, I mean, it's going to be on my foot. No one's going to know or care. And you can see this one, I still have the ramen yarn attached that needs to be re-knit into here. I am finding that as I knit, my handspun seems to come unknit or unspun. Some of the ply is coming out, and I don't really understand, because if I hold that there, like, it has a pretty good ply structure. I mean, maybe you could have a little bit more. Let's see, am I spinning it the right way? Yeah, I mean, I could have a bit more in there than I do, but I don't know, it just seems to keep coming undone, and I don't know. I could experiment and try spinning my singles the opposite way and then plying the opposite way of what I do now. And I may try that at some point, but that's an experiment for another day. So this is my next old whip project, and this I've had on the needles since, I want to say I started these in 2018. Let me find the project page. Just one second. Okay. Oh, November 7th of 2020, I started these, and obviously I spun it before that. So it is time for these to be socks. I am using commercial yarn for the heels, toes, and cuffs. Pucker, Knit Picks, Knit Picks Pickle Juice, Stroll, and Pucker is the pink. So this just works perfect. I mean, this was already in my stash, but I couldn't have picked better to go with this. So I'm very excited to see these progress and have some handspun socks. The only thing that I dislike about handspun socks is for sure I have to hand wash them, which isn't the end of the world, but I tend to be a bit lazy. The other whip that I've made some progress on is my Erica Arndt Confessions of a Homeschooler. Is it homeschooler? Homeschool mom? Something like that. It's linked down below. Her 2023 block of the month quilt. I'm just working on the blocks for now. This is block 7. It is something like a granny square. I remember her calling it that, and obviously it's not a crochet granny square, but it is kind of a granny square. And here is the small block. I'm still not very good with picking colors, but honestly, some of that is the fact that these are the fabrics that I chose for this, and so I just have to do the best that I can. It's ending up looking pretty scrappy, but I don't hate it, and I think once it's all together, it'll look just fine. This one if you look at the little intersections where the blocks came together, this one just looks so good, and I'm quite proud of it. This one, not so good. There's definitely some spots that could use some improvement, but you know, I'm very happy to have decided to do both of these versions, because at some point, if I do more quilting, having the skills to do these smaller pieces will be handy. And obviously, when it comes to just making them a bit larger, I'm having a lot more success. So I think the experience of doing both is going to be really beneficial. I have cut the shapes for block 8, but I have not had time to sew them together yet. Let's see, life stuff. I mentioned I have been reading a lot. Just gonna pull up my notes here because I don't always remember everything. I have, let's see, my Kindle. I told you guys that there are Kindle reading challenges, and I have made it a point to read every day for the last, I think, 25 or 26 days. It's a lot. It's so cool because the Kindle app keeps track, and I'm actually reading on my physical Kindle, but also have the app on my phone. And I have earned like 8 of the first quarter badge challenge things. I don't know. It's fun. So I'm just enjoying that, and I'm liking reading for fun again. Doing college courses and reading things I didn't necessarily want to read really ruined reading for me for a while. And so, as you know, I have read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, which I am obsessed with. A couple people have pointed out the Fantasy Fangirls podcast. I think they also have a YouTube channel, but I'm just listening to it on my iPhone podcast app. And it is rated R, but so is the book. So, but it's really good. I'm not done listening to all of their thoughts and projections on what might happen from Fourth Wing yet, but I'm getting through that, and then I'll go through Iron Flame. And I went back to reading a book that I had started quite a long time ago and picked that back up, and that is Outlander 6, so the 6th book of 9 that's currently out, and it's called A Breath of Snow and Ashes. And yes, I do always have to look because I never remember that title. It's so long. Also, when you're reading on a Kindle, you don't see the title of the book all the time. You don't look at the cover or anything like that, so it's just Outlander 6 to me. Oh, I have done another crafty thing. We got off on a tangent. This here is Sleigh Ride by Spindelicious. The same dyer that I mentioned dyed my Like Totally very bright sock yarn there. And this is on the same base, the 100% Superwash Merino. And I've been spinning this up. I did not bring the bobbin in here because this is only half of the fiber. Can you believe that? The other half is getting spun. I'm probably 3/4 of the way done with the first half, and I will insert a picture of what the bobbin looks like, but I'm really happy with the color. It's so pretty. As I said, it's Sleigh Ride, so you've got these various colors of red, lots of greens, some brown, and then there's blacks throughout as well as the white, and it's really pretty. So I'm enjoying this, even though it's not December or Christmas time. I'm still really happy to be spinning that. Let's see. Oh, I did yesterday. Was it yesterday? Everything's blurring together. No, it was Wednesday. Wednesday, I went and had a session done on my tattoo, and I will pop in a picture here. It's really starting to look good. I honestly thought I was done, but the artist wants to do one more session to kind of bring out the background color a little bit. And honestly, I just cannot wait to be done. I'm over it. I'm still happy to be getting it done, but I've been working on this since August, so really ready to be done. And I think the last thing to mention is that I'm going to be taking Rudy to the vet today after I film this. And I'm not expecting the worst news, but as you may or may not know, Rudy is my 14-ish year old boy Chihuahua, and I've had him for roughly 13 years, and he has kidney disease. There's been a couple times that I've thought that it was going to be time to put him down and things were really bad, but then he seems to always come back out of it. But this will be a little graphic, but I won't show you any pictures or anything. Maybe a little TMI, but it's real life. So when we had all of that ice and snow, he could not walk on the ice because he's already had 2 knee surgeries. So I would shuffle out on the ice, trying not to fall, set him on the edge of the grass, which was completely covered in ice, and let him do his business. Well, I noticed that his pee wasn't really all yellow. In fact, he had some blood coming out, and I think that could just be the kidney disease. I'm not sure. Or maybe he has a bladder infection. I don't know. He seems to be acting as normal as he usually does for a blind and deaf old man Chihuahua, but I'm going to take him to the vet just to be sure. So I'm hoping it's not any worse news. The kidney disease, they say there's nothing they can do for it. Eventually it will progress to the point where he will quit eating. He is still eating, so I think that's a good sign. But it's hard. It's so hard having elderly dogs. But of course, all the time that we get with them is completely worth it. So I hope it's nothing too serious or anything worse than what we've already been dealing with. He takes medications. 3 of our 4 dogs take medications at this point, and it is quite expensive, but they're worth it. So I think that is about it. I did mention on my last episode that I was going to be off work all week this week, and it has flown by. I could use another few weeks to catch up on some projects and do all the things that I want to do. I've been making some bread. I just made a loaf of potato bread today. I will insert a picture of that here. It smells amazing. I cannot wait to eat some of it, but lots to do before I get to that. So anyway, I think that is it for today. I hope you all are having a wonderful, relaxing day whenever you're watching this, and that you are not covered in ice. I will talk to you all soon. Bye.